Hi everyone, Valefor here. It's been 5 months since the last devlog. Pretty long time, right? Well, the time flies so fast this year. I hope you're all doing well and staying healthy. Even though I didn't post much on the channel, except maybe for the few teasers and reveals, we didn't stop working on Glyde, and we have made a lot of progress since the last devlog. Before we start, I quickly wanted to remind you that if you want to keep up to date with all the changes as they happen, you should really join the Discord server and follow Glyde on Twitter. I post regular progress updates on Discord and Twitter, and I only use YouTube to post big devlogs like this one. So if you want to be up to date with everything, Discord and Twitter are the way to go. Also, if you haven't watched the last devlog, it might be worth checking it out. With all this out the way, let's jump into the actual devlog. Let's start with the most important thing to me, Glyde himself. In the last devlog, I showed off the original concept art for Glyde. Back then, I was looking for someone who would be able to create a model for me based on the concept. I kept messaging different artists, looking at different prices, without any result. Until one day, I stumbled upon this artist called Gavin. I found his art station, I looked at the work he's done, and I kinda liked his style, so I decided I will contact him. He replied really fast, and we started talking. I showed him the concept of my character. He was interested in creating a model for Glyde, so we agreed on the price and he got to work really fast. Fast forward a few weeks and boom, Glyde is ready. And look at him, he's so adorable. It was so nice to see how he was becoming a reality, you know, he was being transferred from this 2D concept art into this fully fledged 3D character. It was really cool to see, and I'm so happy with this result. If you have been following the game, then you will know that Glyde features 8 different elemental forms. Glyde's abilities change depending on the active element, but it's not only the abilities that change, his appearance also changes. That's why on top of the original look, we also have 8 elemental skins. I did reveal those here on YouTube, but in case you missed them, here they are in all their glory. I have so many cool ideas for multiple new skins for each of the elements, and it's definitely something I want to explore in the full game. More information on that will be available in the future, but we'll see how the project goes on. In the world of Glyde, elements play a big part in the story. It was important to me to show where dragons come from, and they obviously come from eggs, and eggs are laid by other dragons. So I wanted to portray that the elements are assigned to a dragon even before they are hatched. That's why every egg looks differently based on the element they represent. I've contacted Gavin again, told him about the eggs, and yeah, he got to work. And I'm very pleased with the result. Here is a little clip of the eggs that have been revealed so far. Also, for some reason, you guys really like eggs. I've made a joke post on Discord asking if you want to see some eggs, and that seems to be the most kinda reacted to post on the whole Discord, which is weird, but okay. You got your eggs, so I hope you're happy. Going back to the actual model, this is the story of the eggs and the model. However, there is also a couple more important things to do with the actual character model before you can put it in the game. After Gavin delivered Glyde model to me, at this point I've had a beautiful model and skins for it, but I still wasn't able to use it in the game. So I had to think of a way to make it work in the cheapest way possible, as I couldn't really afford a dedicated animator who could make all the animations for Glyde from scratch. So I've been thinking, and then it kinda struck me. What if there was a way to use the animations from the marketplace placeholders and maybe use them for Glyde? You know, for the new model. I've done some research and I've decided that maybe the best course of action will be to actually contact the creators of the placeholder dragons that I was using. Maybe they could help me out. So I've reached out to Malbur's Animations and asked if they would be able to help me out. We have messaged each other back and forth, and we have made an agreement that it's not something that they usually do, because they are very, very busy with their own work, but they are willing to make an exception for me as a one-off case. So we have agreed on the price, and later Malbers was able to convert the rig that they have made for the elemental dragon models and fit it into my Glyde model, basically. I'm not entirely sure how it's done, but they've managed to use the same rig and adjust it so it fits my model. So basically all the animations that I've had working for the placeholder models work on my model. Once that was done, I've put Glyde in the game, and it was so cool to see him finally moving. Fast forward to now, Glyde is in the game and it works and it looks nice. Of course, there is some small issues with the animations and model stretching, because you know, it's not a rig that was created for this particular model. It was adjusted to it, but the model was still different size and different length and width to the placeholder models. So the animations are not perfect, but they do the job and they look quite nice. It was definitely money well spent, because it helped me push project forward a lot. At this point now, we also have our own animator who is currently reworking all the animations for Glyde, and she's also creating a new rig. So hopefully we will be able to replace all the kind of migrated placeholder animations with our own unique animations. Here is a couple really short teasers of work in progress animations created by legendary Griffin, who is working as an animator on the project now. Next big step in the project is voice acting. So in Glyde, I'm planning on every character to be fully voiced. Thanks to my friend Bolt King Cole, who also helps out on the project. He is a member of various voice acting communities, so he has some contact in terms of voice actors and stuff. So we have managed to find a perfectly fitting voice actors for Glyde and Wing, two main characters of the game. In recently released Checkpoint teas on Twitter, you could hear them both for the first time. Glyde himself is being voiced by Landy, while Wing is being voiced by Luke the Fox. Here is how they sound in the game.
This place must have been abandoned. Maybe we can rest here.
Indeed, this place seems safe.
Of course, at the moment there aren't many lines in the game yet, as we had other things to focus on, such as combat and other in-game systems, but we are slowly getting there, and there will be a lot of stuff to record for these guys. In general, there seems to be a lot of voice actors interested in helping out and doing voice work for NPCs in Glyde. That's why I'm pretty confident that every character and NPC will sound different. This will allow us to make a bit more realistic kind of breathing world where everyone sounds different and they have different personalities. And yes, there will be female dragons as well. Now, the icing on the cake, probably the biggest changes that we have done so far over the last few months. We have been working very hard, coming up with new abilities for Glyde, improving enemy AI, lock-on system, and more. NWDM, who is working with me on programming side of Glyde, has done a great job on implementing a lot of new systems and abilities that we came up with. If we look at the old devlog, all elements were in the game and we've had a general idea of what each element would focus on, but nothing was fully confirmed and we were still experimenting with a ton of different ideas and a lot of other stuff to make the elements feel a bit unique and different. Currently, I'm pleased to say that we've actually have a very strong idea of what each element will do and how they should work. We want each of the elements to feel unique, fun, and be a bit different to play. That's why we are allowing all the special attacks to be usable at any point during the combat. Being able to switch between elements on the fly and using your abilities as you please will allow players to perform interesting combos and maybe find their own ways of dealing with certain enemies. The only limit to your combos is your resource management and the cost of the abilities. You will refill your flame bar, which basically acts as mana bar, by performing melee attacks on enemies. Using abilities will cost certain amount of the flame bar, so some of the abilities will cost more, some will cost less, but it's up to you what ability you use and when you use it. Our aim for the combat is to provide players with fun experience. We want to achieve this by giving you an array of at least 24 different abilities that you will be able to mix and match in combat. This way you'll be able to experiment, come up with your own unique combos and your personal style. Personally, I can't wait to see some fun YouTube videos that will be showcasing different combos that you guys come up with. Also, for abilities themselves, some time ago I've asked on Discord if you would be interested to see like a little short series of the videos showcasing all abilities for every element. This would give you like a bit of an overview into each element, how they work and what you could possibly do with it in the future. Majority of the votes were positive, so I think I will make those videos. I'm really curious what you guys will think on the movesets that we have in Glyde so far. Next up in combat is the enemy AI. So in the most of the old clips and videos, when we showcased the combat, the enemies were just plain basic zombies. They would aggro on you and run towards you, endlessly hitting you until you die. This was a very first iteration of basic enemies in Glyde. We have expanded on the enemy AI, giving it a little bit more to do, and they're not as easy to kill as they used to be, plus they're also a little bit more threatening as well. Before I focus on the behaviors, let me just quickly tell you a little bit about the combat in Glyde and how it will work and what I'm also inspired by. So, you probably didn't know, but I'm a huge fan of Souls series. Souls series is basically games like Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and more. Because I love those games, the combat in Glyde is also inspired by those games. Not maybe in terms of difficulty or the actual combat itself, but the AI in particular. So, what I love about the AI in Souls is that every enemy has their own unique moveset. They all have their own unique strengths and weaknesses, and the combat requires a little bit of a strategic approach. If you were to just run into an enemy and spam attack, you would quickly run out of stamina, plus you would easily get overwhelmed by their attacks. That's what I would like to achieve in Glyde. So every single enemy will have their own unique patterns and attacks. You'll have to think about what ability you want to use next in order to capitalize on their strength or weaknesses. So for example, let's say there is an enemy that deals a lot of damage with a single big wind-up attack. You might want to pop your aquatic shield, which will absorb one hit of damage. That way you will get an opening where you can just quickly go in and punish your enemy for basically making a mistake and hitting you while your shield was up. That's the kind of situations I would like players to experience, because to me, a combat in Souls series is very rewarding. It punishes you for your own mistakes, and it really feels epic when you finally deal that killing blow to this huge badass boss which you were trying to kill 5 times or maybe more. The combat in Glyde will not be as punishing as in Dark Souls. It's not going to be a Dark Souls of 3D platformers. It's just going to be inspired by this style of games, but it will have our own kind of dynamic and twists to it. So no, it's not going to be another Dark Souls clone, but it's also not just Spyro clone as well. In the clip playing right now, you can see a little bit of new behavior for enemies that we've implemented into Glyde. Enemies now strafe around and plan their attacks. They don't mindlessly just rush towards you all the time, but they mix it up with a bit of backing away as well as moving to the sides. This gives you a great feeling of tension build up with each encounter, especially with bigger enemies. They do look rather intimidating compared to some of the smaller basic enemies. It's such a simple thing, just enemies moving in different directions, and it already gives so much to the combat and the actual feel of the game. You can also see our targeting lock-on system in action. As mentioned before, in Glyde we are trying to achieve something similar to Souls games, but with our own twist, as well as a bit more dynamic and a bit more forgiving combat. In Glyde, spamming same button will not get you far against most enemies. You'll have to play smart and dodge enemy attacks, mix things up and decide what abilities you want to use. And when you spot an opening, then that's your chance to go in and punish your enemy. I feel like Glyde is going to be a very interesting mix and of many of my favorite titles, and will also bring some of our own unique ideas into the table. I wanted to keep this devlog relatively short, so I probably won't talk in depth about all the changes that we've implemented into the game. But I also wanted to mention some other stuff that we've added in the last few months. I've mentioned it briefly, but we finally have a functioning saving and checkpoint system. NWDM did a great job on implementing it into the project, and now it works. So in Glyde, you will only be able to save your progress upon reaching one of the rest areas in the level. There will be no autosave, and this is done on purpose. So this system is slightly also inspired by the bonfire system in Dark Souls, with the exception that in Glyde, enemies will not respawn when you rest at the checkpoint. They will respawn, however, if you die and didn't save your progress. We are still working on the project, obviously, and we are working on other core systems for the game, such as quest system, dialogue system, and more. But there isn't a lot to share about those yet. On the art side of things, I have been collaborating with a talented artist, Nowikovsky, who has painted some art for Glyde. Such an awesome portrait that will be used in the game, as well as the element icons and this cool wallpaper. She is working on a very cool Sonic project. It's called Sonic Chronicles Reimagined project as an artist, so definitely check those guys out if you're interested. Link is in the description. Going back to Glyde, music is also in the works. You might hear some teasers every now and then, but not much to talk about yet. Also, recently I've been contacted by a talented UI artist at Felony, and she has shown interest in the project and asked if she can help out. So of course I accepted and we got talking. We are currently working on the user interface for Glyde, and here is a little preview. It's so good to have someone who knows what they're doing, and soon my vision of the UI that I kinda had in my head will become a reality, because she will be able to professionally design that UI based on my description and some concepts that I've made. Definitely check her Twitter out as well. So I think that will be it for now. I wanted to end the video by thanking every single one of you for being the part of the Glyde community, sharing my videos, retweeting on Twitter, and talking on Discord. It's up to you guys if the project will succeed, so the more you support it, the more you spread the word, the bigger the chance of success is for me and the project. So yeah, let your friends know about Glyde, share it around. If you're not on Discord or following our Twitter yet, then go ahead and join us. It's gonna be fun. There is a lot of cool stuff I want to do in the future to engage with the community a bit more as well. If you guys are interested, maybe we could do some Q&A where you can ask questions and about the game and I'll answer them. I'm open to all kind of ideas and feedback really. So if you want to chat with me and give me your thoughts about Glyde, then Discord is the best place to do so, because I'm there all the time pretty much. Links to the socials are below, make use of them. Make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully not in 5 months, maybe earlier, but we'll see. Thank you and see ya. Bye bye.